On this week's show, Peloton celebrates Women's History Month, and there's another Peloton baby on the way.
And a $300 discount for everyone, plus the extension of the home trial, and much, much more.
Welcome to Pelo Buddy TV, a show for the Peloton community by the Peloton community. Here are your hosts, Amanda Siegel and John Pruitt.
Welcome to episode 72 of Pelo Buddy TV, a show for the Peloton community by the Peloton community. I'm John Pruitt, joined as always by my co-host, Amanda Siegel. Hey now, Amanda.
Hey, John. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. It's been a nice week here. It's sunny. It's 30 degrees, but it's very sunny. So blue skies at least out my window right now. And there's no snow on the ground. It's all gone. Awesome. You know you're going to get one big dumping in March. I mean, it's just like happens. Yeah.
It's like one good dumping
It'll happen,
in March.
And then it'll melt away, though, the next day. So I'm okay with that kind of snow dumping. That's fine.
Right.
Yeah.
It's actually been really nice up here too. So Maryland's been nice and warm, and I actually contemplated taking a walk out today, but time just didn't permit. It was just easier to jump on the treadmill and go for it there. But yeah, it's busy week. Sure. I mean, it's just crazy, all the stuff that's going on. It like doesn't seem to let up, but it just makes for tons of information to share with our listeners. But John, before we get started with the news, we always do like to share with you guys how you can keep up to date with all of our content across all of our platforms. Every episode is recorded and released on our YouTube channel. Just hit the subscribe button at the bottom right-hand side of the video and hit the notify button so that you never miss an episode.
Yep. And you can also, if you want to simply listen to us, you know the drill. You can find us on all the traditional podcast platforms. Search Pelo Buddy TV, hit that subscribe button, click notifications so you never miss an episode. And please leave us a review. We love to hear, we love to read the positive reviews, especially on the show when we can read those. And we love your feedback. If you have a suggestion for the show, how we can improve things, let us know.
Yeah, and folks, we are, of course, on Facebook and Instagram and now Twitter too. So just search Pelo Buddy and follow us on those platforms for all of the latest news. And now, John, let's get on with the show.
First, let's do a rundown of the latest Pelo news.
All right, folks, what an awesome way to start the show. And that is highlighting Women's History Month, because us women are nice and strong. And once again, Peloton is celebrating all of us amazing women. I do kind of feel bad for you guys, right? There's no men's national day or international month or whatever. I guess we have to focus on the women at least once a year. But Peloton have gone ahead and given us an array of classes, and classes actually begin today, Sunday, March 6th, with what we know is going to be an epic 2-for-1 with none other than our UK queens, Hannah Frankson and Leanne Hainsby. So the last time we saw these two on the bike together was for Women's History Month in 2020. There was nothing last year, unfortunately, but back on March 17th, 2020 to be exact, both Hannah and Leanne took to the London studio. It was back in the old studio, and did their first 2-for-1. And it was definitely a ride to be remembered. So I can only bet, John, that this one will be just as entertaining. There's been a ton of hype over the last few days on social. And I can almost bet that next week it will be a pick of the week. So stay tuned to hear next week as far as that ride goes. Next up, there's a special 2-part Power Stack workout starting on Tuesday, March the 8th. So just this Tuesday. And the first stack is at 6 a.m. Eastern time, and it's for the German community. They are going to have Myla Wiedekant on the bike for a 20-minute ride, followed by a 20-minute yoga flow by Nico Sarani at 6:30. Those will both be in German. Later in the morning, the power stacks continue. Your fave, Jen Sherman, will have a 30-minute ride at 10 a.m. Eastern, followed by a 15-minute core strength with Emma Lovewell at 10:35 Eastern time. And then at 1:30 p.m. Eastern, you can power stack with Susie Chan on a 30-minute run, followed by a 15-minute meditation with Chelsea Jackson Roberts. So kind of cool how they're doing these kind of power stack Women's History Month collabs with different instructors kind of going back to back with each other. Also dropping on Tuesday evening with the lovely Becs Gentry. There will be a 30-minute run at 7 p.m. Eastern time. The description that Peloton gave for the celebration is basically every discipline, every skill level, every mindset. This Women's History Month, we're celebrating our millions of women members around the world who inspire the Peloton community with their strength, from German ladies to hashtag UK Ladies Peloton to Peloton moms. We're honoring all the way they show up strong for themselves and for each other. Join Peloton in celebrating strength in all its forms with special themed classes and more. So they really are kind of pushing this. It got launched at the beginning of the month, and I can pretty much see the whole month going to be packed with different stuff that they're going to kind of launch, back and forth. They did also share that they are deepening their partnership with 261 Fearless. It's a global organization helping women cultivate fearlessness through running. Over the past year, Peloton has supported the growth of their education program for women leaders and running coaches. And this year's donation of $50,000 will continue expanding the impact of running and empowering effects it has on women coaches and program participants all around the world. So again, as I'm sure the month goes on, we will get to see so much more on the platform, but it's a great way to hit the ground running. So I'm excited to see what else will happen over the month.
Yeah, a lot of good stuff coming down the pipeline.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Well, shifting gears a little bit, Peloton just announced a new promotional offer. It's titled Treat Yourself, Treat Your Friends, and they're giving members a $300 discount for anyone to use, including if you're already a member, say you own the tread and you want to get the bike, you can use it yourself for the $300 discount. The offer lasts for 3 weeks and will allow current members, both all access and app members, to send up to 5 of these 5 codes, to use 5 friends, to give them a code for $300 off the Bike Plus, or the tread. And like I said, you could use it for yourself. According to the announcement, all members will be sent this unique code via email no later than Saturday, March 5th. Not everyone's going to receive it at the same time, so you should reach out to Peloton support if you don't get it by Saturday. But if you've opted out, one thing to keep in mind, if you've opted out of receiving marketing messages, emails, you'd want to call into Peloton or chat with them on the live chat feature online to get your code. It expires on Monday, March 21st, and it can only be used 5 times. So if you're a current hardware member, you can use it to treat yourself to a new piece of equipment. Also, you can, if you send it to somebody, one thing to note, you can send it to someone and they can also use it in conjunction with your referral code. So they can get $300 off. And then you will get the $100 referral credit like you normally get for referring someone. However, when they use that referral code, it's not going to give them any additional discount. They're just going to get the $300 off the bike or the tread. It expires after 5 times, and it's valid for all members Australia, the equivalent to Australian dollars, and UK members in the UK, in the equivalent in pounds. So yeah, it's kind of a nice little promo.
Definitely, yeah. And then also, it looks like they are expanding the trial from 30 days to 100 days. So now folks, if they kind of want to try out a Peloton, bike or tread, you can get to keep it for 100 days now instead of the 30 days. So that's kind of a nice little perk as well, I guess, if you're not quite sure if you want to, if you want the product. And I guess it's just another way of trying to drum up marketing and have folks purchase hardware. So that's an interesting new little tidbit that we saw, and it's gone up on their website and it's pretty much everywhere. So those are running in conjunction with each other as well. So so it looks like it's only valid until the end of March. So for those folks that are interested, do it now, because it only gives you, the ability to kind of fall under that umbrella through the end of March. So definitely look into that.
If you buy the tread after March, it's only the 30-day try
Correct.
Before you buy.
Correct. So
Gotcha.
It's only up till the end of March that folks, if they buy within the month of March, get the 100 days. So yeah, just something extra, And then again, shifting gears. This is really shifting gears. We were let into a pretty well-kept secret this past week, Jen. Although tons of moms on the platform were questioning Anna's growing belly, but in her 30-minute slow flow class last Tuesday evening, March the 1st at 6 p.m., that was Eastern time, Anna did share the amazing news that she is now 4 months pregnant, and that her and her husband, Will, could not be more excited. She posted an awesome reel, which we'll share up here on her social, sharing the news of the baby's growth, and of course, her teammates' just absolute excitement. As members, we are so thrilled for them and wish her an easy pregnancy. The baby is due in August. She did share on social that she will continue to offer prenatal and postnatal yoga classes. She actually guided members to those classes that have already dropped that she did with Kristen McGee. But that was really exciting to see. So we have baby number 2 in the Peloton fam. After little baby Athena. So that was lovely to see. And it was just so lovely to see, because Anna's kind of quiet. We don't hear much from her. And she really just was so, gracious and grateful. She posted tons on her social, just thanking members, saying that she had read everybody's messages and posts. And I actually got a lovely message from her just this past weekend as well, thanking me for the well wishes. So that's really cool, because I'm sure she's probably gotten thousands of messages. So that was really fun. I had just sent her a message and wished her luck. So yeah, that was exciting.
And that moment from her class when she announced it was very sweet. At the end, she said something along the lines of, if you're growing love inside, she was very calm, she didn't, burst out with excitement, but she's like, I'm currently growing a baby inside of me. So it was a really kind of sweet way she announced at the end of that. Was it yoga?
Yeah, it was her yoga. It's actually,
yeah.
It's one of our followers' picks of the week. So I'll bring it up in the pick of the week. But that's just not her personality. She's so muted and calm, and she's lovely. She's lovely. So that was really nice to see. And I know that for some,
her sonogram pictures.
She did. And she was very, you know what I loved about it, John? And again, just coming from my world of infertility and working in that for so many years, she was very sensitive to that. And she said, you know, I'm so grateful and we've been blessed, but I recognize that this is hard for some. And I love that she did that. I love that she acknowledged that this was, you know, she also mentioned that the prenatal and postnatal classes can be filtered, that you don't have to see them. So for folks that are, you know, trying to get pregnant, etc. And she brought that up on her social. So I thought, again, very sensitive, and I love that she thought of that.
I didn't even know until I noticed her, you know, it had her age, had her birth date in the sonogram. I didn't know she was 38 years old. I thought she looks a lot younger.
I didn't even see that. Look at you. You really are like a Mr. Investigator.
Well, it just had her full name and her birth of September or something, 84. So
she looks
I
amazing.
thought she was a lot younger than that.
She looks amazing. Yeah. Well, then even more so. And again, I know how hard it is, you know, as us women get older. So good for her. I'm so happy for her. That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, in other exciting news, Jermaine Johnson, JJ, across the pond at the UK studio, is now teaching strength. His premiere class, it obviously already went down. If you have not taken it, it's from Tuesday, March 1st. He premiered at 7 a.m. Eastern time. And he shared the news on his Instagram stories, but he's already on the schedule. Right now, he's got one 20-minute upper body strength class scheduled for this coming Tuesday morning, March 8th. That's the only one I currently see right now. And then he's got a couple of other encore strength classes in there. So I'm sure
on demand. He dropped some.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll be, you know, adding some more in there in the coming days, especially when this episode drops. So keep an eye out for that. Have you done his?
I did.
Strength class?
Did, and I will talk about it. It is one of my picks of the week. He's a really motivating guy, and I'm thrilled that the UK have now somebody else, you know, on the platform and on the roster with early classes. But I won't give away any secrets. We'll wait for picks of the week. But with that, talking about that, it's a
Staying
new month.
on the strength realm.
On the strength stuff, it's a new month. And we know what happens in a new month. We get a new monthly strength stack. And this
Passing
month
of the
of
torch.
March, it's Callie Gullickson. She gets the honors. This is actually her second time that she is doing a strength stack. But the stack for March contains a total of 10 classes. She has 4 active days per week and 2 rest recovery days. It is also designed to start, the way she's designed it is that she starts with 2 days of work followed by 1 day of rest before closing out the week with 2 final active days. The stack includes chest and back, arms and shoulders, core, glutes and legs, and full body. And Callie actually also includes 1 day of HIIT cardio to just mix things up a little bit. You can certainly head over to pelobuddy.com. We have the full listing on there of exactly what the classes are. So certainly head over there if you want to see everything kind of laid out for you. But she did hit social in a big way talking about it and did a great story. I actually think it's a reel on her actual page. So you can, it's not just a story, it's a post where you can also go in and see what classes she's doing. So either one, you'll be able to grab that.
Nice. Well, in other news, Rebecca Kennedy, she had her first hiking boot camp, which she had announced the previous week that she was going to be incorporating hike segments into her tread boot camp classes. So you were on that. I was not, because Jackie claimed the tread for that, her first 45-minute hiking tread boot camp this past Wednesday, but it's on demand if you have not taken it yet. It had 2 hiking segments in there, 7-minute one, and then the second segment was about 12 minutes. I looked at the class structure. Yeah. It's not on the schedule yet, but I did confirm directly with Rebecca that the next one will be on Wednesday the 16th. Because when I asked her, she said, "Are you already getting dibs on the tread, reserving the tread for that class?"
I know, I was laughing when I saw Jackie on there. I was like, oh God, John must be pissed. He's not able to be on there.
I knew she would want
it. You did say that.
I'll probably get it for the next one. I don't think she's going to hog it for all of the hiking boot camps. Right. But it was funny at the end. I guess she shouted both of us out because she didn't know who was on. And then later that night, since I had to get my live tread boot camp in, I worked out with Andy, and he said, "Oh, you working out with me tonight because you didn't get the tread this morning with Rebecca?"
That was so cute. I mean, what are we going to talk about it? Oh, John Foot must have been pissed. He didn't get the tread this morning. I guess he's going to do your class. I did find that quite funny. All right. Well, moving along for our runners out there, and I think that's me these days. There is a new strength class that dropped specifically for all those runners out there. So I know that there had been members that had been concerned that they had stopped producing those. The last one was back from last year. But Becs dropped this past Monday, February the 28th, a 10-minute strength for runners, which has been added to the other 88 classes that are already there. So if you are looking for these specifically, you can find them under strength and filter by class type. And there is actually a filter that specifically says strength for runners. So definitely head on over there. There are, as I said, there are 89 now. So there were 88 previously, and Becs just dropped this new one. So that's good to know.
Well, and quick reminder, Peloton reminded us about the Labrinth Artist Series. There is a ride now on demand with Hannah Frankson and a run with Jocelyn Thompson Rule. And I'm not really familiar with the musical artist Labrinth, but he wrote songs that are a part of and I'm not familiar with the show either, HBO TV series Euphoria that just had season 2 come out. So he's got music in the show that he wrote for Euphoria. Do you watch that show?
I do not. It's very popular, though. I think I'm a little too old, and can I say you're too old now too? But I know my kids watch it, so I think it's maybe. Does she watch it?
No, it was one of those shows we were going to watch, and then she goes, "No, it's just about kids doing drugs or." Oh,
is that what it's about? Oh, maybe I should watch it.
That's what she said. That's what she quickly said about it. And so she said, I have no interest in watching this. So we're watching Afterlife with Ricky Gervais and on Netflix. That's the show we're watching currently on Netflix. Okay. But no, I should probably just try watching it on my own.
Yeah,
but
just see what
a lot of the instructors keep raving, like Cody loves it and Tunde. There's a couple of instructors that post a lot about it in their stories. So I've been seeing it a lot in social.
I've also seen it
from Peloton people
recently.
And I guess this most recent season just ended, so the finale just happened last week. Yeah.
Got it. And then, yes, a very special meditation was held on Thursday afternoon at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, 8 p.m. UK time with Nico Sarani. And we got to see a bunch of the Peloton instructors in the meditation. So it was a 10-minute piece meditation, assuming with what's going on in the world right now. But what was really special was that we got, there was Anna Greenberg, Adrian Williams, Mariana, Dennis Morton, Tunde, Jackson Roberts, and Michelle were all in the meditation with Nico. And it was really special to see them kind of all doing it together, which was really fun, really amazing, obviously, to see the community of instructors doing this. So really, really special. And we'll show a little bit of a clip so you guys will be able to see that on here. But if you haven't taken it, it'll be, it's on demand, and you can certainly go ahead and do that piece meditation. So, and yes, it is. Thank you, Control Room. It was done in English. So that was really nice to be able to have more folks join in that it was in English. So good job. Excellent.
Nice.
And then, John, I guess it's official. The Teased About Peloton podcast, Fitness Flip, hosted by Peloton's very own Tunde, is now official. Peloton's
Fitness
blog,
flipped.
Fitness flipped. Peloton's blog, The Outpost, posted about it this past week. And the first one will air on Tuesday, March the 8th. But you can listen to a trailer that Tunde recorded introducing the podcast and sharing a little bit about what she intends to bring to the community. She says that Peloton are looking to challenge and transform some of the ideas that members have regarding health, strength, and mental wellness. Tunde will chat with some interesting experts and personalities, including some of Peloton's own instructors. So it seems that Cody, Robin, and Emma will have an opportunity to chat directly with Tunde on the podcast. Members will also have an opportunity to share their stories. So folks can gain access to the podcast directly from the Peloton app under the outdoor category by filtering under walking. So you are able to actually go on the app and pull it out of there. Interestingly enough, a bonus, you will get a credit for a walking workout if you do it on the app. So I guess it's a great way to listen and get your steps in at the same time. The show will also be available on all popular podcast platforms, so Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, and others. The in-depth episodes are going to drop each Tuesday, but the shorter episodes featuring members will drop on Thursdays. So next week, we will have a report for you on the very first podcast, and I'm sure it's going to be amazing. She speaks so beautifully, and looking forward to hearing, how they talk about different aspects of, as I said, mental health and physical, nutritional, etc. So that should be good.
I'm really excited about the member to see what Peloton members end up appearing on the show, because that
I am too. I think they took the baton.
The community.
They took the baton from us, John. We've unfortunately have so much news that they've given us to share on our side of the podcast that we don't have time to interview members anymore, which I know so many of you folks have asked for and have wanted. But I guess now you'll get to do both. You'll get to hear Pelo Buddy's podcast on everything that's happening.
On
the inside, on the outside, and the supplement will be now from Tunde and members. But yes, I am very curious to see who they end up picking. And there are some. Look, we've just had a handful of them, but there are some amazing stories out there. From folks that have, stroke survivors, cancer survivors, weight loss. There's just so much that's on the platform. Autoimmune diseases, and folks that have really pulled themselves, out of some dark places. So I'm very much looking forward to hearing what they have to offer. So make sure you guys carve out enough time to listen to Pelo Buddy and Fitness Flipped.
Yeah, I wonder who will be the first member up for the inaugural episode. We'll have to find out next week.
Next week.
CEO Barry McCarthy, he recently published, there's an interview with him published in Yahoo Finance, in which he mentioned a couple of things, but to clarify about the pricing, I know a lot of members had read that the monthly subscription fee that's been $39 basically from day one, from the Peloton Kickstarter campaign days. A lot of members were worried that was going to increase, but he assured us that that's not changing. That's remain constant and should remain in effect. Even if it does increase, it would be grandfathered for the all access members like you and I. But he also explained adjusted pricing would apply to new members. They'd be testing out new pricing to attract new members. So basically he would start with a lower cost entry point for the hardware. So like the bike, could be less expensive, and then you pay a higher monthly fee for the equipment and the membership. So yeah, if anyone's still kind of concerning, I think he's kind of reassured us the $39 isn't increasing anytime soon for us for the folks that are already paying that amount each month.
Yeah. Well, we spoke about it last week on the show, so I guess there must have been tons of chatter as to how that's going to impact, us. So again, good for him that he's transparent, that he comes out, that he's, we've tended to find that a lot of things were kind of kept under the radar. People didn't really know what was going on, and he's definitely been very vocal since he's come on.
Yeah, feels like he's been pretty transparent about a lot of the concerns that have been raised and voiced in those weeks since he's taken over. He also maintained there are no plans to sell the company in the near future. He said, he's moving his family to New York from California, so he's here to stay. He's coming here not, to stay, not to sell the business. He also confirmed the company's working on the development of new products, which seems to be, the rower is coming out soon, and the Peloton Guide, which is still in the works. So far, he seems to be taking everything head on.
Yeah, good for him. Well, flipping it over to John Foley, on Thursday, an SEC filing, John revealed that Foley had gone ahead and sold $50 million in stock to MSD Partners. So MSD Partners is a firm that is linked to billionaire Dell founder of Dell Technologies, Michael Dell. It was reported that the sale involved 1.92 million shares, which was sold at $26 per share. According to the Financial Times, this is the first time Foley has sold shares below $29, which was Peloton's IPO price back in 2019. So as we know, Peloton has lost approximately 80% of its market value over the past year after hitting the pandemic highs, which was nearing $170 per share. He had sold nearly $100 million worth of stock back in 2021, however. He still retains enough shares to have effective voting control of the company. Peloton did report saying that the recent sale to MSD Partners was purely Foley's decision based on his own financial planning. So it had nothing to do with the company. I think they just kind of wanted to make sure that everybody, felt safe, but that this was something that John had to do personally. So, it's all out there. We know everything, unfortunately, for, anybody that's kind of up here, you just know everything that's going on. So,
nice little chunk of change.
Yeah.
Well, another exciting news for Peloton. They were ranked the number 2 brand again for a second year in a row. They secured the number 2 spot on Profit's annual brand relevance index, which measures a company's brand relevance. So in other words, which brands matter most to consumers' daily lives. The report clarifies the top brands that consumers can't imagine living without are relentlessly relevant. They are equal parts head and heart, solving everyday problems while making consumers feel delight and joy. And they were second to Apple. Apple was number 1, Spotify number 3, and Bose I thought was interesting. The the audio headphones speaker company. They were 4, and rounding out the 5th spot was Android. And It says to develop the index, Profit surveyed more than 13,500 consumers, looked at 293 brands across 27 industries. And then they culled the top 10 brands according to that index. Fitbit was number 8 in there. PlayStation was 7. Instapot, number 6. Is that a cooking product?
I don't know.
Instapot?
I've never heard of it. Maybe.
I think that's for the
kitchen.
kitchen.
Could very well be. Isn't that interesting? Yeah, maybe it is. Never heard of it. So I'm not sure.
But the report regarding Peloton, they said about the company, it may have peddled into America's living rooms as a pandemic placeholder for gyms and fitness studios, but even as it muddles through business challenges, its most loyal subscribers crave this motivating community. It ranks first for pushing the status quo.
Yeah. I mean, we know this, so it's just reinforcing it. So for all those out there that are making, are sharing the negativity. Us diehards know what it does for us. So yeah. And actually, interestingly enough, in more positive news, Peloton's headquarters in New York was named the winner of the 2022 Fitwell Impact Award as the health building certification system recognized the top innovations that promote occupant health and wellness. So according to facilitiesnet.com, Peloton's headquarters was actually redesigned by moving office cubicles and replacing with collaborative workspaces, both indoors and outside. And I remember us reporting about that months ago, maybe even a year ago. We spoke about how they were redoing the inside of the headquarters. Yeah. They've added a barista bar and a kitchen on every floor and an employee gym that I'm sure is equipped with all Pelotons. Danny Santiago, who is Peloton's director of workplace operations, says that since the offices were updated, they now see more staff physically coming into the office. So I can get that. I mean, I think that people are, for the most part, tired of being at home and are looking to want to go back to the office. Some people love it and some people are quite happy, continuing to, telecommute and work from home. But there are definitely folks that want that interaction with other people and being in a, in a nice environment away from home, because home can become somewhat monotonous. So it's great that they recognize that, and by changing, the outlook of the inside, it's gotten to draw, folks that are in administration and need to go to the headquarters into the office. So I like that. I thought that was a great thing. So well done for that. And yeah, John, I guess that pretty much wraps up the news portion of the show. Next up is Instructor in the News. And
what do we got?
First up is an absolutely amazing article by Healthline.com, which shared how after a stroke at 33, Peloton instructor Bradley Rose is once again thriving. So I knew Bradley's history, and I did know that was something that he had. But reading this article, I really thought that they captured it so well. It shares how back in January of 2019, Bradley had suffered from a stroke. He was living in New York and was employed at a gym where he actually taught boxing classes. He had gone to work normally, woke up that day feeling fine, went to work normally, but suffered, just suddenly suffered from what he says was the world's worst headache, and decided that he just needed to kind of sit out, and went and sat down to find out when he came to that he had apparently been out for hours. And what he had said was he had just thought that he was exhausted. He was tired from juggling, too much. He was in acting at the time as well. So between acting and his fitness training and being in the gym, he felt that he was just exhausted. But in fact, he had suffered a stroke, and he was diagnosed with an atrial septal defect. What's that, you ask? It's a birth defect that is characterized by a hole in the wall that separates the top two chambers of the heart. And according to doctors, the hole caused a clot to form, which then traveled to Bradley's heart into his brain, leading to the stroke. The article shares how Bradley underwent surgery and was told that he may never be able to teach fitness classes again, but it was going to be based purely on his recovery. And as we all know, 3 years later, he has recovered beautifully. And Peloton members are fortunate enough to have him on the platform. He does say, though, that some days are really tough, and he really does need to listen to his body. But in the article, he shares, though, that he was very transparent with Peloton about the stroke. And the company said, look, we're going to give you a shot and let's see how you do. And as we know, he started teaching back in, March of 2021. So he's going to have his first Peloversary this month. And, he's doing great. So, I love that he shared the story. I know that I saw on his social when he did share it, there were so many members that, had shared and thanked him and shared their own stories. I know that I ride with somebody whose leaderboard name is actually Stroke Survivor. So I know that for her, she's a beast. She's a beast on the bike. But interestingly enough, too, the article did say that you can be fit and healthy. It's got nothing to do with that. It's just in his perspective, it was a birth defect, but that it doesn't matter. But you just do need to listen to your bodies. So really amazing that he shared that story and folks got to hear the backstory of that.
And I don't know if you caught it, but I figured out his age because I remember how you said he doesn't like to say his age.
Yes.
Because it said he was 33, so he's about 36, 37.
Interesting. Oh, you're so clever. Look at you, John Pruitt.
Yeah, because a while ago
Anna
you said
Greenberg's
he doesn't.
38. We know that Bradley's 36. I know that John Husking's turning 30 in September. I could be old enough to be his mother. Seriously. Who else can you dish on, John?
What, Jen's 52, 53?
Yeah, Jen's my age. Jen's 50. I think she's 53. I think she's
Cody's 34.
A year old. Interesting.
Anyway.
Yeah, interesting. All right. Well, tell us about Jess Sims.
Another instructor news. So Jess Sims was recently on the March 1st podcast that's hosted by LoLo Jones. It's called Gold Medal Loser. And it was about an hour-long podcast episode. But the description is leaving behind a master's degree and career in education because Jess was a teacher, and I think she was a principal or assistant principal right before she transitioned out of that education career to education to pursue her first love of fitness. She talked with LoLo about the tools needed to build a healthy and active lifestyle and the connection she's made with so many within the Peloton community by simply being her authentic self. So that's on all podcast platforms, including Spotify. So hit that one up when you have a chance, if you haven't listened to that interview.
Yeah, and our very own Matt Wilpers got to chat with three-time Olympic medalist and World Cup champion Jessie Diggins. The podcast was hosted by Noon Hydration and Lyric, and that one was titled Recover Like a Champion. Jessie talks to Matt about training, mindset, and recovery. So she is an Olympic skier. And it was also an hour long, and you can certainly catch it off of pelobuddy.com. But a really great interview between Matt, and it was just a nice chat. I listened to a little bit of it, and it was just a nice kind of banter back and forth between the two of them.
Nice. Well, Cody Rigsby was recently interviewed in Men's Journal. The title of that interview is Peloton's Cody Rigsby's tips for keeping up with his healthy lifestyle while traveling. And it seemed more of a tie-in advertisement for Capital One's Venture X credit card, which Cody is a brand partner with. But he dives into answering questions along the lines of what is your usual workout when you're home. What are 5 moves that you can do just to use your body weight in a hotel room when you're, traveling? He did say his favorite place to travel to take in the scenery is Mykonos in Greece. He said that the views can't be beaten there. But I thought it was funny when Chris Lewis on the Pelo Buddy Insta page, he posted this interview, and he said, it was really an ad for Capital One's credit card. I simply commented, "What's in Boo's wallet?" And someone commented, "His slut card."
Oh my goodness, that is too funny. That is too funny. Oh gosh. Yeah.
So Tunde, she was recently selected to be a part of the We the Culture, which is a program that elevates Black creators to share their vision with the world, spark community, empower them to build successful, entertaining, and sustainable networks across their apps. You can find, we've linked it on pelobuddy.com, but she also recently announced being a part of that program on social media this past week on Instagram.
Super. And then lastly, NBCnews.com had an article titled Peloton attempts to find its footing after several high-profile blunders, but says that analysts and former employees say a shakeup in the company's executive ranks cast some doubt about the road ahead. The article does talk about how Peloton was just moving too fast, and that, yes, when the pandemic hit and forced folks to stay home with not being able to work out in gyms, the demand for the product was quite overwhelming. But somehow they just couldn't keep up with the demand. Truthfully, the article didn't share anything we didn't know, but it's definitely an interesting read, just sharing kind of what's been happening over the past 2 years. Gosh, isn't it absolutely insane that it is now 2 years that we have been under this pandemic cloud?
There was a TikTok video from the other day. It was dated. It showed a clip from NBC News from March 2nd, 2020, where it was like just starting to report on COVID deaths in the US. And it was like, a week or so before like the shit really hit the fan, and we all went into quarantine and everything kind of shut down. So it's like, it's crazy. It's been 2 years now. Insane.
Well, we have lots of picks of the week, and I must say, John, I thought that this idea of Chris's to bring in, the community members and folks that love the show and listen to the show, and get your picks of the week, because there have been some amazing ones. So I will hit it off. And my picks were members' picks, so I like that I was not alone out there. My top pick, no doubt, was Rebecca's debut 45-minute hiking boot camp from Wednesday, March the 2nd. And it does look like I'm not alone. So those followers that agreed with me, and I will shout them out, was Snoopish, Daphne Rill, Annie the Minx, apparently Ash. What was said was fantastic music. Loved the opportunity to do a workout with low impact yet high output. That came from Annie the Minx. The hiking boot camp, while very challenging, is also a very accessible class to those who don't do tread boot camps because of the impact. Would find that they could do this class and crank up their output with relatively low impact. And that came from J_Bo13. And I agree. I mean, I have not, I did that one Maddie boot camp a couple weeks ago, and I loved it, but it was hard for me to kind of work between the running and the floor. You spoke about it in the show, but I think the curation of this boot camp that Rebecca did was phenomenal. She really is gorgeous and just so much fun. And she just made it fun. She really did. I pushed myself. It was amazing. It was no question. Her music was amazing. And she was kind of all over the place when it came to music. She really gave a little bit of everything. She threw in Madonna. She threw in hip hop. She just really had a little bit of everything. And the hiking was hard. It was really hard. But I loved being able to just hike and not feel completely out of breath like I am after a run, and then being able to get onto the floor. And I thought that her floor curation as well was absolutely amazing. So huge kudos to her. I'm looking really forward to continuing to do those because those I think are a little bit more manageable for those folks that aren't runners. It definitely is more manageable. And next, I am giving some love to newbie German instructor Benny Adami. I know, John, that you've been riding with him, but boy, oh boy, I did his Broadway ride from Tuesday, March the 1st at 1:30 Eastern. I actually did it on demand. So I did it on Wednesday as well. Crazy me. I didn't understand a goddamn word that he was saying. But his energy and enthusiasm on that bike really was just enough. I did tell him that he needs to push Peloton for subtitles. And in fact, he reposted my post, and he copied or tagged Jen Cotter, who I guess is production
chief content officer,
content officer in the UK, to say that we need, because honestly, I have to say, I think that these German instructors are, and I hate to use the word wasted, because clearly there's a huge German community that appreciates them and gets to ride with them. But, I loved riding with him, and I'm probably not the only one out there. And it was frustrating that I couldn't follow the cues that he was saying. That what I ended up doing was just really putting my bike on auto follow, because I did do it on demand. So I let, the Bike Plus take me, and I just enjoyed the music. But, for some folks that really do need the cues and don't feel comfortable riding without them, that would have been hard to do. But the music he picked was fantastic. He threw in Waitress, Glee, Frozen, Mamma Mia, Jersey Boys, Tarzan, Evan Hansen. Each song was better than the next. And you know what the best part about it was, John? He was soaking wet at the end of that ride.
That black button-down shirt that he was wearing. Yeah, it was glistening with sweat.
And you know what? I appreciated it. I really did, because, and again, everybody rides differently, or the instructors give their classes differently, but I just felt that he put every last ounce of him into, and again, it's the first ride that I've done, so I had to give him a shout out for it. But I can't wait to do another one. I really can't wait to do another one, because I think that he is fantastic. And it would be nice too if they started throwing in maybe one English class a week. I remember when Cliff did that 2-for-1, we loved it. I think he did it with Hannah, and we loved it. We loved the fact that he was on there, and he was amazing. But it's hard when you don't understand the language. So Peloton either have to make sure they get up subtitles, or throw in some English, really, really nice. So huge shout out to Benny. And lastly, I do have to shout out JJ. I had to do some major juggling on Tuesday morning, because I have my Tuesdays programmed literally by the minute. And Peloton messed with my programming. So you actually said in your piece, and I just remembered picking it up, that it was at 7 a.m. Something must have happened, because they pushed it to 8 a.m. So he was supposed to be at 7 a.m. There were tube strikes. Thank you, control room. There have been terrible tube strikes in London this past week. Of course, everyone's been talking about it. And obviously he didn't get in time. So they had to push it to 8 a.m., which messed up my entire morning. But I wasn't missing it, and it was worth it. It was hard. It was very, very hard. I have to say that much. It was a full body strength. And I will do his workouts again. I love the fact that they have a second UK instructor on the platform. As you know, I love working out with the UK instructors. So, definitely a workout as, strength person that I will go back to over and over again. So I wasn't the only one out there. Pelo Buddy follower Dr. Debbie loved the workout too. And she too suggested it as her pick of the week. And John, what I'll go ahead and do is just kind of run through some of the members' picks of the weeks here. So there's some amazing ones. I'm not sure if any of them are yours, but I will throw them. I will throw them out. So as far as member picks go, Jess King's 30-minute sweat steady ride from February 26th, 9:30 a.m. Great music, only 30 minutes, so it felt more manageable. If you're nervous to take one of these classes, the ride flew by. As the name suggests, you're sweating by the end. And that came from Megan Colwell. Moving on, Alex and Tunde's 30-minute Black History Month block party 2-for-1. That dropped on Wednesday night, I believe. No, Monday the 28th at 8 p.m. Monday the 28th at 8 p.m. And the energy that those two had were amazing. There were tons of followers and listeners that liked that one. So Fiery Leona, Maria K, I'm sorry for dripping, try again, Movie Star 600, Jules 209, and Love for Lucy were all members and followers of Pelo Buddy that gave that as their pick of the week. So some of the comments: the Black History Month Block Party 2-for-1 ride is a must take. The playlist alone will draw you in, but watching them profess their love and friendship to each other reminds me how amazing this community is. A rising tide lifts all ships. I'm not sure what muscles will hurt more, your legs or your cheeks from smiling. And that came from Love for Lucy. Chelsea Jackson Roberts did a 30-minute deep relaxation meditation. It was an audio meditation, and that dropped on March the 1st. It was at 11 a.m. Eastern. And I did do that meditation, and it is absolutely fantastic. One of the comments from a follower was, Chelsea provides clear instructions about the roadmap and nicely takes us through a different type of body scan, beginning from the soles of the feet rather than at the hands like a body scan. And there's also a good variety in that she offers about 6 to 7 minutes of silence to wrap up. And that came from Garlic and Ginger. And I did feel that same way, almost to the point that I was nervous I was going to fall asleep because the music was just so calming. But she definitely did keep quiet for some time, and it just really gave you time to, process and think about what you were doing. Moving on, Callie Gullickson's 30-minute bootcamp. It was an upper body bootcamp. And that was from also March the 1st. It was at noon. It dropped at noon. Callie has been a great addition to the bike bootcamp team. Some of the compound movements were definitely a little tricky, but with the right weights, anyone could do it, even though it's marked advanced. Since it was upper body, the intervals on the bike were heavy resistance, cadence pushes, which was a great balance. And that came from follower Kenneth Parcell. Let's see what's next. Anna Greenberg's 30-minute slow flow. That was again from the 1st at 6 p.m. Anna's slow flow. She announced her pregnancy. She was glowing and so sweet the entire class. You knew that there was going to be an announcement, but her joy in being able to celebrate was beautiful. And that came from Miranda Land. All right. I'm assuming you have Cody as one of your picks of the week. His XOXO.
Yeah, I actually didn't hear any overlapping ones for my picks of the week. So I got some fresh ones on top of yours and our viewers and listeners.
Did you have Cody's on there?
Oh, yeah.
All right. So I'm going to throw out just the names because I know folks like to get the recognition. So there were tons of followers that loved Cody's ride.
I would hope.
Yep. So Running from 3 Kid, Christina Grip, Lord Have Mercy 55, Bussin' Up for Donuts, Wombat Mama, and the Aquaman all loved it. So let's hear what you have to say.
So first up, so I'll get to Cody in a couple picks from now, but first up, I'm going to give love to German instructor Benny Adami. I did my very first live ride with him. I had done some low impacts and cool downs with him. But my very first live ride with him, I did his 20-minute 80s pop from Friday the 25th. And it was a lot of fun. He's very animated. He loves to like throw back his right arm all the time, when he gets excited. But he had some Bangles, Madonna, Police. It was just a fun 80s pop ride. In 20 minutes, it flew by. I had been messaging with him that a couple days before the ride, and I said, I love to hear the song Dancing on the Ceiling. So anytime that gets in a ride, that always gets me hyped up. But he had said that he had already submitted the playlist, and but he threw it in for the pre-show. So it was playing during the pre-show before the start of the ride. So that was fun. Next up, Christine Dierkel, CDE's 30-minute David Byrne's American Utopia ride, which is all the music of the group, the Talking Heads. But his American Utopia Broadway musical that's going on right now, it was all the music from it. So it had a lot of versions, from the musical soundtrack, but just an amazing ride. And she was dressed up in this silver outfit, and she was just super excited, just so exuberant the entire ride. But a lot of really good Talking Heads songs in there from the musical. Cody's 30-minute XO Cody ride from Tuesday the 1st. So this one, I'll just tell you that the whole theme of the ride is drinking. So there's, songs about drinking, liquor, shots, just a super fun ride. He did another edition of Smash or Pass featuring different Disney princes. He also threw in Gaston from Beauty and the Beast. There was a funny Q&A segment that he did where he answers questions that members submitted to him via social media. Just super fun class. They're always a blast, those classes. And I don't usually do them live, so I did it on demand the next day, but just super fun. It flies by for 30 minutes. And then I got to switch over to some strength. So Andy Spears, 30-minute core tread boot camp. It was a beginner class, so it was really nice. Like the movements were very simple, straightforward on the floor. He gave modifications, if you wanted to, go more on the advanced side. But a 30-minute class, there was a really good, the one song that stood out that he played when we were on the floor was Jefferson Airplane's White Rabbit. But it was a remix, so it was still kind of very like trippy, but it was just a cool remix version of that song that he played. That '60s song that Grace Slick sings from Jefferson Airplane. But those are my 4.
Awesome. And I missed 3 here, which I'm going to shout out because these look like awesome ones. So Dennis Morton had a 45-minute Power Zone ride. That was from March the 2nd at 10 a.m. And,
I did that one live.
Oh, you did do it live? Yeah, I heard it was outstanding. Mm-hmm. So a real challenge, but great coaching and tunes. And that came from Deb Fern. The latest offering in Dennis's Power Zone rides, he calls Lung Busters, does not disappoint. 3 blocks of 2-minute zone 5, 2 minutes zone 2, or 3, player's choice, 2 minutes zone 5, 3-minute recovery in between, and then 1 final block of 2 minutes zone 2 or 3, 2 minutes zone 5. This follower said, I think I blacked out during the last interval. Great playlist and great coaching as usual. And that was from Cyclaw. And then Emma Lovewell. Emma Lovewell did a 20-minute EDM ride, also from the 2nd at 11 a.m. And this follower said, Emma is my go-to, my sole instructor. The playlist is club beats with matching cadences and 2 climbs in and out of the saddle, which are my jam. Emma also shares some club shoe humor and gives great advice from her days working as a bartender not to eat the club bar fruit, which made me laugh out loud. And this came from Love This Journey for Me. So that was kind of cute. And then lastly, I've got to give my my buddy in the control room, Chris Giles, a shout out. Chris had recommended as his pick of the week, and that is different to Chris Lewis. Chris Giles gave Susie Chan's 45-minute walk plus run. That was also from the 2nd at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Chris said it was an awesome playlist. The class flew by with the right mix of walk and run. And Chris's leaderboard name is Chris M. Giles. So tons and tons of choices. As I said before, I love the fact that we're getting this because I think there's an amazing mix of different stuff now. And I saw how Chris did it last week, which I thought was awesome. Chris Lewis is he actually in the show notes. And if you go up to the website, you can actually find a listing of all these picks of the week. So it's if somebody heard something and they weren't sure, you can actually go over to pelobuddy.com and you'll see that at the bottom, everybody's picks are in there. So everybody gets a shout out. So yeah, I mean, it takes us a little bit longer, but I think it's awesome. And I'll still give my boos, John and Leanne, their shout outs when needed. But this week, even I gave you some new choices. So I hope that you guys enjoyed those. And that wraps it up, John. Wow, lots and lots and lots. So we are going to have a jam-packed week next week too, I guess, with all the Women's History Month stuff dropping. So I'm looking forward to sharing that information. And I guess we know that there's going to be news. I'm sure of it, tons of it. So hope you guys enjoyed, and always a pleasure sharing all the up-to-date information with you. So from me here in Maryland, bye for now, everybody.
Yep. And from me here in Michigan, thank you for tuning in, listening, watching us. And as always, we will see you on the leaderboard.
Thank you for watching Pelo Buddy TV, your source for everything Peloton, by the community, for the community. Work out with us using the Pelo Buddy TV leaderboard tag, and find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Pelo Buddy. Don't forget that we have a podcast available so that you can listen to us while on the move. Just search for Pelo Buddy TV on any major platform and hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode.